Visit us at originalmattress.com.
The Vintelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Vintelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
This is Freddie and Harry. I know other teams I didn't post they were in Alabama, they seem powerless, like they're afraid to stand up and be counted, that they want to be too pretty and not gully and not gutty enough. Nick Saban's teams were pretty, but when they need to get gully, they did. Any team worth their weight in salt, when it's time to get down and dirty, you're not afraid to do it. 13, 14 games of killing DeBoer. The dirtier the game gets, the more they want no part of it. And that's something the coach better fix.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURB HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Super Bowl. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz The Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick.
Struck him! All live from the capital of the Commonwealth.
Where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now,
I'll take my time to South Beach.
Live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz The Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Monday morning, September 22nd. Welcome in to Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside on this Monday morning. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond streams on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and of course on ESPNRichmond.com and the ESPN Richmond app. Appreciate you waking up with us and reacting to what was a fun-filled Sunday of NFL action. In that 1 p.m. slate, we saw 3 game-winning kicks either get blocked or go through the uprights, and it made for a wild finish to the early slate. And then, oh, by the way, the 4 p.m. slate, it finished off with some fireworks of its own, with the Cardinals nearly pulling off the upset win over the 49ers. I mean, just a wild day of NFL action, all capped off by a snoozer of a Chiefs-Giants game, 22-9 final in that one. But we had enough fireworks throughout the entire day that it made up for kind of a snoozer on Sunday Night Football. And the biggest game, I think, around the area was, of course, the Commanders-Raiders game. And, folks, I think we all need to ask the question, is there a QB controversy? Do we got a QB controversy brewing in the District of Columbia? Sorry, in Landover, Maryland? Of course, I'm kidding. But Marcus Mariota stepped up in a major way for the Commanders yesterday. The offensive line was fantastic for him. They were creating time. They were excellent in the run game. They neutralized Max Crosby. And the game started where it seemed that the Vegas Raiders may be able to keep up and make things a little interesting, but then 174 first half rush yards later, 201 total rush yards later, it was clear that the Commanders were just kind of in another sport. They were in another echelon throughout that entire game. That rushing attack was as potent as we have seen it this season. The 201 total rush yards is the second most they've had this year. They had 220 against the Giants in week 1, but they did this with no Austin Eckler. They were a little depleted at the spot, and Jeremy McNichols was looking like beast mode on one of his huge runs, just blowing up. I think it was Jeremy Chin right in the hole, and then scampered for his longest touchdown run of his entire career. And it set Mariota up for success, and it made him look like the starting quarterback B rather than the starting quarterback. This is what Marcus Mariota said about his journey and about the rush game yesterday after the win.
This means a lot to me, so it was awesome. It was such a good group of guys that were dedicated to doing their best and executing, and it was fun to be a part of today.
Obviously, it made you a little emotional there. Why?
A little bit. Just thinking about my journey. That's about it. You know, the ups and the downs, and I was a part of a great franchise with the Raiders, and to see some of these guys and to play against them, it was a lot of fun for me, and I'm just a part of such a great culture, and I'll never take that for granted, and I just truly blessed and truly appreciative of it.
Mariota finished the game with some nice stats and was a pivotal piece in the offense finding their rhythm. And look, that rush attack made Marcus Mariota a little emotional, reflective on his quarterback journey through the league. And that was what was missing up in that Green Bay game. Washington's MO last season was rushing the football. They had 6 games in 2024 where they gained 200 yards or more on the ground, 8 total with 150 rush yards or more. The Commanders have looked great on offense twice this season, week 1 and yesterday. And the difference in that third game where they did not look great was Kingsbury not establishing the rush and becoming overly reliant on Jaden Daniels. And then that over-reliance caused the sophomore signal caller to sprain his MCL when he got hit. But yesterday was in total a great game for the Commanders. Mariota, 15 of 21, 201 and a touchdown, also rushed for 40 yards and tacked on another touchdown on the ground. Defensively, bottled up Geno Smith and the Raiders. Bobby Wagner turned back the clock. He tied a career high with 2 sacks in the game. And Raiders rookie running back Ashton Genty finished with just 3.7 yards per pop. That defense was hitting him behind the line of scrimmage more often than not. It was a win in all 3 phases for the Commanders, who desperately needed that emphatic dub to thrust themselves back into the conversation of best NFC teams. The special teams were great. They racked up 245 return yards between punt and kickoff return. Jalen Lane had his first punt return touchdown. Not to be cliche, but this was a team win for Washington, and I am hesitantly back to being impressed with them. They are doing what good teams should do, which is beat up on the bad teams. And notice that I said what good teams do, not great teams, because they still have to prove a little something to get back into that great teams tier. Great teams win games against other great teams. And their worst performance, albeit in a small sample size, came against the best team that they played. And that's why that October 5th game against the Chargers absolutely circled on the calendar. That's the next big test for this Commander squad. But so far in the games they need to beat up on the bad teams, they have done that with a week 1 win and now a week 3 win to move to 2-1. All right, Commanders, they get that dominant 41-24 win. So let's update you with everything else that happened over the weekend.
Traffic reports on 106. Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best-kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at QueenfieldGolf.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Holding! Defense! The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV. This is your Fitz the Bill morning update. Getting you on some of the biggest stories in sports.
Sunday Night Football, Chiefs got their first win of the season. It was a 22-9 win over the Giants. Mahomes finished with 224 and a touchdown. Russell Wilson turned back into a pumpkin. 2 first-half interceptions with no touchdowns. For the Cardinals, their loss to the 49ers went from bad to worse. James Conner, their starting running back, suffered a season-ending ankle injury. Trey Benson will take over RB1 duties in Arizona. The Pittsburgh Steelers get a 21-14 win over Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. The Steelers forced 5 turnovers in the win. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 touchdowns. His first touchdown pass put him 4th on the all-time passing touchdowns list, passing who else but Brett Favre. Other notable NFL scores from around the league: the Seahawks dominated the Saints 44-13. The Browns handed the Packers their first loss of the season 13-10. The Vikings had 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 pick six, 1 scoop and score en route to a 48-10 win. The Panthers blanked the Falcons 30-0, and the Bears beat up on the Dallas Cowboys 31-14. In college football, after a missed call in the Auburn at Oklahoma game, the SEC came out and reprimanded its officials. The missed call resulted in an Oklahoma touchdown in a game the Sooners won by, you guessed it, a touchdown. In the ACC, Syracuse got a big win over Clemson, but in the process lost their starting quarterback. Stephen Jelly tore his Achilles in the win and will miss the rest of 2025. Back in the SEC, DJ Lagway, the quarterback for the Gators, following Florida's 3rd straight loss, he said he guarantees the Gators will play better moving forward. Someone that did indeed play better was Arch Manning. Against Sam Houston, he went 18 of 21 with 309 and 3 touchdowns through the air. He also added 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Heading over to MLB, Cal Raleigh hit home run number 58 as the Mariners get a 7-3 win over the Astros. The Nationals down the Mets 3-2. The Yankees beat the Orioles 7-1 in a 10-inning ballgame. The Braves get a 6-2 win over the Tigers. The Phillies fall 9-2 to the Diamondbacks. And the Giants beat the Dodgers 3-1. All right, that's what you may have missed in the wide world of sports over the weekend. So much to dive into. No guest today. Just want to hear from you. Text, calls, everything like that. 804-327-0888. And it's Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday, 9:30 a.m. in hour number 2. We'll share some of our biggest overreactions from week 3 of the NFL football season. If you want to share your biggest overreactions from the weekend that was, 804-327-0888. Also on Saturday, Pete Thamel dropped a couple of interesting news and nuggets around the Virginia Tech coaching search. We'll dive into that to begin hour number 2. On the other side of this break, we'll discuss everything that happened in the National Football League, including the wild day it was for game-winning field goals. That's all coming up on Fitz the Bill.
It's Ray Ferguson with RVA Roofing Services. We do roofing, siding, gutters, and gutter guards. When it comes to protecting your home, experience matters. Your roof is one of the most important systems in your home. Don't let a small leak make you write a big check. Call RVA Roofing Services before it spreads. RVA Roofing Services is veteran-owned. We deliver quality workmanship, fair pricing, and free inspections. No job is too big or too small. RVA Roofing Services, the most dependable roofers in your area. Book your appointment anytime at rvaroofingservices.com.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
World Class Courts is proud to be a featured sponsor of the 2025 River City Tennis Open, October 3rd to 5th at the University of Richmond West Hampton Courts. We specialize in providing everything you need for any type of tennis court, whether it's clay, hard, or hybrid surfaces. As a manufacturer and supplier, World Class Courts offers surfaces and equipment for every kind of tennis court. We invite you to come and see our recent resurfacing work at the University of Richmond. For more information, visit us online at worldclasscourts.com.
We're more than a station. We're a sports community. Braves, Spiders, NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR, Talk shows, big games, local heroes. 106.1 ESPN Richmond is where Richmond talks sports. Want your brand in the mix? Advertise with us today. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect heavy traffic heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. We are seeing some backup on Ashland Road, both north and southbound between Lanier and 64. Congestion heading north on Powhite Parkway between Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham. And there's been a crash on Brook Road at Perham Road.
106.1 ESPN. Catch Border to Border with Matt Josephs. Statewide sports debates, unfiltered takes, and no-nonsense analysis. Tune in daily and join the conversation.
The ball caught it. The kick is away. It's blocked. It's blocked. It's picked up by the Eagles. Running with it is Davis. 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Game over. Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good for the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle. Got it. 23-20. Zeros on the clock. It's over. Sweeps it. Delivers it. And San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn.
What a day. What a day. 1 p.m. slate finished with the Browns blocking a kick, then kicking their own game winner to down the Packers, just like we all thought. The Cleveland Browns upsetting the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles blocking the game-winning field goal attempt from the Rams, and then not only just falling on it, Jordan Davis, the big defensive tackle, he's the one that blocked it. He's the one that scooped it, and he's the one that scored it, hitting 18.5 miles per hour on his return. So the Eagles get the win in that one. They actually blocked the last 2 Rams field goal attempts. What an insane finish in that one. And, oh, by the way, the Buccaneers finished the 1 p.m. slate with a game-winning field goal of their own. Fast forward to the 4 p.m. slate, and you've got crazy finishes in that one as well. The 49ers win it on a last-second field goal. Just insanity from the entire day. Field goal kickers, have yourself a day. Pat yourself on the back, man. And this comes right on the heels of Allen saying he'd rather have nobody at the kicker spot than somebody. And then here they are. They're winning you a game, man.
Still stand by it. Rather score touchdowns than kick field goals.
You've just been burned one too many times by Kyle Shanahan.
But, man, look, for all the greatness that you were talking about, field goal kickers, the Falcons got rid of their kicker and still were missing field goals. And then even up in Northwest Stadium,
Matt Gay was missing field goals.
Yeah, Matt Gay is lucky he got a lot of offensive production. Otherwise, he'd probably be on the release report this morning.
He might still be because Younghoe Koo's out there, and Younghoe Koo had a rough.
Younghoe Koo missing field goals, but was probably better option than what they had on Sunday. So.
Well, man, the Falcons got absolutely boat raced by the Panthers. A 30-0 loss is never good, especially when the Falcons were thought of to be maybe the biggest contender in the NFC South, along with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but what the Carolina Panthers did to him last night was just disrespectful. Penix threw 2 picks, and the Falcons' offense never got going.
What I've learned, and I probably should have learned this a while ago, considering how many games I went to, but the NFL is so week to week, man.
It's so week to week.
Yeah, it's so week to week. Look, I can always see an avenue where a team loses, like the Packers Browns. Browns are a tough opponent in Cleveland, whether people want to admit that or not. That defense can win them games, can keep them around for games. That's what happened this past Sunday. But under no circumstances could I ever envision that the Panthers would win 30-0.
Yes.
Maybe 30-3, maybe 30-7,
30-27, 30-20. I didn't think the Panthers would blank them.
To shut out that offense with the Falcons is wild.
That was one of the worst defenses coming into that game. Using last year's stats in the first 2 weeks, the Panthers defense is like horrid. And somehow they figured out a way to stop a pretty darn good Falcons offense led by Bashawn Robinson.
Yeah, I don't understand And obviously I couldn't watch but so much of it because we were at the Commanders game. I caught bits and pieces, but like to be blanked by the Panthers is very concerning. But also raises an alarm if you're a Commanders fan because you got the Falcons next week. And if there's one thing about the NFL, when a team gets embarrassed, they're going to give you their maximum 110% best effort the next week.
1,000%. The Panthers, after that performance, are now a top 10 defensive unit. That's just how much things can get skewed with such a small sample. But the Panthers defense shutting down the Falcons, that was shocking. Another made game winner that I forgot about, the Chargers had Dicker the kicker go out there and give them the win over the Broncos. Just an insane day. But you know what? The one thing that is a constant from week over week? Jake Browning is not a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers picked him off. It was a pick six. The Vikings defense scored twice in their 48-10 absolute blowout of the Cincinnati Bengals. Jake Browning threw 2 total interceptions. The Bengals also had a fumble, which was recovered by Isaiah Rodgers, and he scored it. So Isaiah Rodgers himself scored more points than the Bengals offense did. Isaiah Rodgers was he scored 12 points. Let's throw out the extra points. He scored 12 points off the touchdowns alone. That is more than the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals, I feel like we've been saying this all season, but it needs to be said again. They are learning why. This is why you do not put all of your cap into 3 players. You do not sign Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, all to massive extensions, all making them essentially the highest paid players at their respective positions. Joe Burrow, when he signed, became the highest paid quarterback. Jamar Chase, when he signed, became the highest paid non-quarterback of all time, making him the highest paid wide receiver 1. And T. Higgins is the highest paid wide receiver 2 in the National Football League. Now one of them goes down. You see what that does to the rest of your team. You do not have the necessary depth to be a competitive team in the NFL. And the reports coming out about Joe Burrow are not that glowing. They are saying 3 months is a very, very optimistic view for him to get back from his turf toe surgery. So expect Jake Browning to be the QB1 in Cincy for the remainder of the season. And he's got to figure some things out. He's gone 40 of 59 in about 6-7 quarters of play so far this season. 381 through the air, 3 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's throwing an interception on 8.5% of his throws. That's not winning football. And when you look across the league to see what the backups were doing this last week, Tyrod Taylor, he nearly led the Jets to a massive win. Marcus Mariota looked very, very good. Carson Wentz on the other sideline for the Vikings, his team put up 48 points. Now, a lot of those were from the defense, but still, Carson Wentz did not lose him a game. 6 incompletions, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then you look at Jake Browning. Jake Browning, you've now got 5 interceptions in about 7-8 quarters of action. You're throwing an interception at a very high rate. You're not being all that effective. And the Bengals, all you have to do is blame yourself for 1, sticking with Jake Browning, 2, having 3 players make up over 60% of your cap, and 3, not going out in the offseason to try and maybe find a backup quarterback that could push Jake Browning because you know you have an injury-prone quarterback. This is now the 3rd time he's going to have a season-ending injury in his 6-7-year career, in his 5-year career. He was drafted in 2020. He played 6th year. This is his 6th year. 3 of his years, he has had a season-ending injury. ACL his rookie year, the wrist injury 2 seasons ago, and then the now this is probably going to end his season again this year, and you were okay with Jake Browning. Man, the Vikings defense absolutely demolished Cincy and made them look silly. I think Cincy's the worst team in the NFL right now.
I think Browning's issue is that the Vikings are a tough task for anybody that can't kind of see into the future because you get a lot of different looks pre-snap from Flores in that defense. And then, once the ball snapped, they do a lot of different things. It's hard if you're not a very rapid processor to look good against them. But his overall decision-making has just been poor,
yes,
collectively.
Just bad.
You talked about Tyrod and the rest of those guys. A lot of them know their role as a backup. They're not trying to do too much. Even Carson Wentz took more sacks and pulled the ball back significantly more than I've seen him do in his career as a starter. Mariota, the game plan for Mariota and that team was specifically to put the ball on the ground, and special teams helped Tyrod in them a lot because they were pretty stagnant for most of the game. Browning's in a position where he's got so many weapons, but he's also got to be mindful. Turnovers will destroy this team. Even with Burrow at quarterback, turnovers would destroy this team because he doesn't have a good defense.
No, you cannot put the game in the defense's hands. If you do, the opponent is going to score over 30 points, much like they did in this one. The Vikings finished with 48, just absolutely demolished them. Another great 1 p.m. game. Eagles pulled off the fantastic comeback. They at one point trailed 26-7 to the Rams. They ended up winning 33-26. The final score is a little larger than what it was. It should have been a 27-26 final, but the scoop and score for Jordan Davis counts just the same as it would have happened in the second, third, or first quarter. So a great performance by the Eagles to get there. And look, Jalen Hurts, he does what he needs to do to get these wins. He finished with 226 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, and he did everything that was asked of him. I mean, can't complain. Finished with 4 total touchdowns, 9 rushes, 40 yards. I mean, the guy is the ultimate and best game manager in the National Football League. And the Eagles doing what the Eagles do, just find a way to win. It looked like the Rams had their number. And then for the second straight game against the Eagles dig deep and they get a big play from their defensive tackle to disrupt the game. In the playoffs, the Rams were driving down the field. They were looking for a receiver, and Jalen Carter busts through the middle of the line, and he impacts Matt Stafford's throw, and it was either incomplete on 4th down or an interception. I forget which of the two. And then in this one, you set up for the game-winning field goal. Jordan Davis busts through the middle of the line. He blocks it. He scoops it. He scores it. And the Eagles pull off a huge second-half comeback. They were down 26-7 midway through the third quarter. Then they outscored the Rams in a major, major way to pull out that win. That was an impressive game for Philly.
There's a level of concern for me, but I guess if you're the Eagles, you don't have to worry about it because there's not too many Jarrett Versus running around. But he has such great games against this offensive line.
I don't know what it is because not a lot of other players do.
I kind of know what it is because he's a hybrid, right? Like he's bullish enough that if he gets inside on the guards and some of these strong guys, he can push them around. Like he can push Mulata around. Not a lot of guys can do that. But also that combination of being able to push Mulata around and also be quicker in his steps than Mulata just doesn't come often. But by himself, man, he is so disruptive against this Eagles team. He had a phenomenal game. He had a big hit on Hurts too. But I got to give the Eagles some credit here. They fought back and won, and they did it without necessarily relying on the tush push in this boring offense that they have. They actually had to make plays.
Yeah, they
finally made plays, which makes me think that this whole time you could have been playing like this. You were choosing not to because you're just prioritizing just winning the game no matter what.
Yes,
which is fine, but also like at some point, man, get some style points for it. Do it for the fans. You know?
That's the thing. Like this game kind of showed that for the first 2 games, for the first 2.5 games, because even at the half, this offense looked bad. They were unimaginative. They were. It seemed like Philly was always playing for 3rd and 2. They weren't playing for first down. It was like, all right, well, if we can get the ball to 3rd and short, we'll get the first down. And then if we do it again, we can get the first down. If we do it again, we do it again, and eventually we'll just work our way down the field. And then the Rams stopped it. They weren't letting them get to 3rd and short, and it forced the Eagles to open it up. A.J. Brown all of a sudden is a part of the offense in the second half, finishes with 6 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. It's like, oh, that's where that was this whole time. You could have just been getting the ball to him more, but you've kept him relatively quiet. Finally, A.J. Brown breaks out for a good game.
Yeah, and I'm not – Bruce commented on our Facebook post. I'm really not going to go every single week, give Jalen Hurts props, give this person props, give that person props. Like, I think the evaluation on Jalen Hurts is fair. Not that I necessarily agree with it, but I can understand why people call him a game manager.
He is a game manager.
It's not a knock.
He's an elite game manager, and I mean that in the nicest way.
And at one point, Bruce, they booed Jalen Hurts in this offense during that Eagles game. So let's again give him credit. I give him credit, and I think most people have given him credit today. But like the totality of his performance still makes me personally question, why can't you guys just do this all the time? Why can't you just start on the front foot like this all the time? Why can't we see the second half offense the entire game? Because if we did, this Eagles team would be without a doubt pretty much uncontested at this point as the best team in the league. I mean, they're not going to run across verse in this team.
No,
the Rams just seem to kind of have their number a little bit, give them some fits, but like their division especially, they can't do nothing with the Eagles offense that's scoring 30 plus points. Because guess what? None of them are going to score 30 plus points on that defense.
Yeah, exactly. The Eagles offense looked great in the second half. And yes, Jalen Hurts, I will continue saying it, is an elite game manager. And if you're taking that as a negative, that's your own fault, because I'm saying that as a glowing review of him. He does exactly what he needs to be. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League that 1 week can throw for 100 yards in a win, and then in the next week completely changes the game plan in the second half and finishes with 226. It's not a bad thing that he is not considered a top-tier quarterback. He does everything that is asked of him, and he wins games, but he's not winning because of him. But that's a whole other discussion. Philly gets the win. Philly looked bad in the first half. They looked like that the run of Philly was over. It was a 26-7 lead, for goodness sake, and the Eagles offense was looking bad. It's not often that you see a team just flip the script immediately in the third quarter, not even after halftime, in the third quarter, to then end up pulling away and getting a 33-26 win thanks to Jordan Davis with a blocked field goal, scoop and score. Really, really impressive stuff. Let's take a quick break. We'll get to news or snooze and continue talking about some of the games around the National Football League on the other side of this break.
Bonaire Still has been serving the RVA community for 20 plus years, providing service with a smile and technicians you can trust. Family owned and operated, 8762 Huguenot Road.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkis, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Hey, it's Paul Sargent, owner of All Set Auto Richmond. How would you like the best paint protection film, ceramic coating, or window tint for your vehicle? At All Set Auto Richmond, we have the products, knowledge, and experience to enhance and protect your vehicle. I personally invite you to come over and visit us at All Set Auto Richmond. We're on Mayland Drive near 64 and Gaskins. Or feel free to Google us, All Set Auto Richmond. That's ALSET Auto Richmond. Protect your vehicle from the Richmond Road elements and the hot sun with All Set Auto Richmond.
The Bentelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Bentelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
Cooler fall temperatures are coming, and that means perfect weather for a round of golf at Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. Queenfield Golf Club, RVA's best kept secret.
The Rich Eisen Show. Do you think Mahomes is sitting around pissed about whatever that story is being written?
It's so hard to get to a Super Bowl. And Tom Brady would say the same thing. So my guess is that's the thing that probably gnaws on him pretty good, that he's lost a couple. Fortunately for me, I didn't lose one.
You see how I smiled when he said he never lost?
By the way, fortunately, I never lost a Super Bowl. The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at your morning weather report, it's currently 59 degrees, but feels like 66, with a high today of 80 and a low of 58. We're seeing mostly sunny skies at the moment. The clouds will be rolling in and out throughout the rest of the day. Temperatures will continue to rise throughout the week, with a high tomorrow of 84 and a low of 63.
106.1 ESPN in your pocket. Download the app for on-demand shows, live updates, podcasts, and sports takes hotter than a game-winning drive. Your team, your way. Get it now. News or snooze?
News or snooze. I'm saying that as I'm looking at the list. I never look at the list. I need to look at the list before we do this segment because I'm always pleasantly shocked about what you leave off of the list.
I just go, what are in the headlines? And that's what we go with.
We didn't get any college football in the headlines.
We will get to look. This is it's a tightrope you have to walk because we got the college football things we got to talk about in hour number 2 as their own segments.
Your first thing isn't even newsworthy. Travis Kelce and Andy Reid jawing each other.
Snooze. They can't all be newsworthy. Then that just becomes news or news.
Travis Kelce and Andy Reid.
Newsworthy.
Can I read it or not?
All right.
Travis Kelce and Andy Reid jawed each other in Chiefs win.
Second week in a row that they've yelled at each other on the sideline. Second week in a row, Travis Kelce's getting a little irritable.
They are never, ever getting back together.
Trouble in old Travis and Taylor's marriage already?
Maybe Travis is the anti-hero.
Snoozeworthy. All right. How do you know so many Taylor Swift songs?
I worked with kids all my life.
Okay.
You gotta be up on topic.
I am the contemporary. Taylor Swift is my generation. I have
an 18-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I got it. Yeah, I could. Baby, this love story is not going well.
I'm just saying. I have to know he should just shake it off.
You know, Travis Kelce's probably just seeing red every time he talks to Big Red.
Our catalog's pretty deep. If we can keep,
we could probably keep going. Honestly,
number 2,
Andy Reid is the reason for the teardrops on Travis Kelce's guitar.
Well, I will say
that was a deep cut.
That was a deep cut, and I'm pretty sure that this guy is also a Taylor Swift fan. Caleb Williams, Gem shows proof of concept for Bears offense.
Snoozeworthy. It's the Dallas defense, which allowed 450 passing yards to Russell Wilson last week.
We had somebody call in last week and say that they would take Jake Browning over Caleb Williams. I feel like Williams should get a victory lap.
Yeah, sure. He gets a victory lap as I'm snoozing as he takes it. I mean, cool. You took down the Dallas Cowboys defense, which I don't know. Last time I checked is one of the worst in the National Football League, right? Like, cool. The Caleb Williams, the proof of concept is there. And let me tell you, he looked good yesterday. I turned off the Seahawks-Saints game at the halftime because I was like, all right, well, we're going to move this to small screen, and the big screen's going to get the Dallas Cowboys-Chicago Bears game because that one was looking like it was a lot better of a game than the 44-13 blowout that was happening in Seattle. Fun fact, the Seahawks going into that game yesterday were 1-7 in their last 8 at home. That's an insane stat. That used to be one of the biggest home field advantages.
Oh man, we got a good overreaction text. We can get to that after this.
Perfect. So,
just real quick though, can we talk about how bad of a coach you have to be that you get a matchup against your former quarterback that you drafted. The majority of the weapons on that offense you drafted. So that means you probably did some pretty intensive scouting. So you know these kids. And the head coach is a former offensive coordinator of your rival team, and you've played him at least 10 times probably if you're Eberflus. How do they dominate you in this manner? I understand there's no Micah and this defense isn't all that great, but just in general, the game plan in and of itself looked bad.
I mean, they were letting Caleb hit shots he's never hit in his career.
Hasn't felt this good since USC, I'm sure.
Shoot, maybe even Oklahoma.
Man, that's
the early days of Lincoln Riley. Caleb finished with just a hair under 300 yards through the air, 298, 4 touchdowns, and he ran for 12 yards, nothing too spectacular. Their rushing attack still isn't that good. They need to get that going a little bit more. 29 attempts, 87 yards, 3 yards per carry. Their longest rush of the day was from Olamide Zaccheaus, which was a 12-yard rush.
Now, that's a name I remember.
Yes, still need to get that going a little bit, but the passing attack, which kind of makes the passing attack from Caleb Williams look that much more impressive, considering they didn't really have a threat to run on the ground. So they were essentially a one-dimensional team. And Caleb still sliced and diced the Dallas Cowboys secondary. He finished with 298. Luther Burden had 101. Rome Odunze had 62 and a touchdown. DeAndre Swift had 45. Colston Loveland had 31. Zaccheaus, to go along with his 12-yard run, had 24 receiving yards. DJ Moore, 21. Like, they were a very balanced passing attack yesterday, but I'm not reading too much into it because Dallas, again, allowed 450 passing yards That is so many passing yards to Russell Wilson. And the Dallas Cowboys defense is the worst defense in the NFL, not named the Miami Dolphins.
Or the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, the Bengals have a slight, according to EPA per play.
Oh, we're using the nerd numbers for this.
Yeah, we're using nerd numbers for this.
Well, I can tell you on tape, they all look equally as bad.
They do. The Bengals aren't far behind. I mean, they are the 21st worst defense,
Also,
according to EPA per
Luther
play.
Burden is their third option. That's a pretty good receiving core.
Their receiving core is really like what?
If you think about it, Aduze and Burden are under 27 too.
Yeah,
and DJ's probably
Moore,
just 29, probably
maybe 28.
I have to look it up.
But yeah, they got a young receiving core. This is why the people were so high on him last
28.
year.
Yeah, that's wow.
Colston Loveland's young. Cole Kmet's young. DeAndre, you just get a new running back in there. You gotta fix the offensive line.
I don't know anything about this Loveland thing, man. Imagine if they'd have gotten Tyler Warren. Every time we talk about this, I keep bringing it up. I'm gonna stop.
What if they got an offensive lineman?
That too.
Like you got a tight end. Probably. Look, if you're a tight end out there, keep grinding. We appreciate you.
Bears.
Plug your ears for what I'm about to say next. You drafted a tight end, one of the more not needed positions in the NFL.
I would disagree with you on the fact that a lot of people are running 13 personnel, and in order to do that, you got to have tight ends.
Yeah, you got to have tight ends.
Yeah,
you got to have bodies.
I wouldn't. Obviously, some of those people in the 13 personnel are not needed to be drafted in the first round, but it pays to have a guy in the first round.
Sure,
with first round talent.
But you know what the crazy thing is? You had Cole Kmet, who was already thought of in the league as a good tight end.
No, he's solid.
And then you went out and you got Colston Loveland when you needed an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, a running back. You
really needed a running back,
an offensive lineman. Just seems a little interesting. But like you said, Eberflus, he scouted Caleb Williams. He coached Caleb Williams. Granted, I think this goes to show that Eberflus wasn't in the film room with him because he didn't know anything that Caleb Williams
wait, he
was
could
doing.
do those things? He wasn't doing that when I was in Chicago.
Yeah, so if he was doing that when I was in Chicago, I'd still have my job. And so, yeah, that was a tough one. All right, what's next?
Brian Daboll refuses to say whether Russell Wilson will start versus Chargers. I'm not going to answer that.
I'm not going to answer that. Newsworthy. Is it Jackson Dart time?
I got a hot take, even though it's not hot take.
Hit me.
Is it? I got
It's Overreaction Monday.
All right, well, I don't think it's overreaction, but hot take. Brian Daboll will be the first coach fired, not Mike McDaniel.
Ooh, that is a hot take.
I would have, honestly, I would fire him.
Fans are turning on him
I would personally walk down, come into the locker room, say, great speech, coach. Can I speak with you outside for a minute? send him on his way, and come back in and tell the team we're moving in a different direction. I have never seen such mismanagement of talent in all my days since Eberflus, actually. I would put him in the Eberflus category.
6 months ago?
Yes, it is terrible, man. Russ is serviceable, but only with an offensive line at this point in his career, right? You don't have a great offensive line.
You pulled Andrew Thomas at halftime because he was on a snap count.
Yeah. So if you're going to use Dart, then use Dart. There's no reason to wait and continue to go through these questions, continue to mess with the team's chemistry. You have a young team. Like your receiver's in his second season. Stop messing with him. Stop messing with his production.
He looks already dejected.
Yeah.
Like he looks out of it. He had 7 targets. He only made 2 catches because they were all contested targets or deep balls down the field that were not on the mark from Russell Wilson. 2 catches, 13 yards. Not a great night. There was a point in this game late in the fourth quarter where Cam Scatabo had 120 total yards from scrimmage. The rest of the Giants had 100.
Yeah, Scatabo was balling, man. And I love his style. He's probably going to get a lot of concussions.
Yeah,
though.
he's running CTE, man.
Yeah, he's just legitimate ramming people with his helmet sometimes. But he's a spark, right? Like there was energy when he came in. He hustled, got that touchdown. They were competing in the game, but the issue is your quarterback. And what's the point of keeping Russ in? He's not making you any better than what Dart would do.
You're the only pushback I think you would get, and you're not getting it from me because I agree they need to put Jackson Dart in. I think the reason they're not is they know their offensive line stinks. They don't think Jackson Dart may have a full grasp of this playbook just yet, so you keep him out hoping that you don't damage him by putting him in too early. But that might be the only pushback. But even then, like if you are communicative with the quarterback, like, hey man, we want to put you in so you get reps, like don't take it too seriously in the way of like, don't get too down on yourself, that type of stuff, then you're good.
Now, it's my understanding is the last game last week, they had packages for Dart, did they not?
Yes.
So if he doesn't know the playbook, then why does he have packages?
He had packages tonight, or I guess last night too.
So why are we doing that? If he's good enough for packages and he's good enough to get in the game, and if he's not good enough to get in the game, then put Jameis Winston back there because at least he gives you a better chance throwing the ball through the air.
At least he would have thrown for 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that's fine. But Russ is limited, man.
Yeah,
and last night they were literally pressing you, telling you, if you're going to beat us, you got to beat us over the top. And he couldn't get in. How many short arm throws did he have?
His 2 interceptions were short arm deep throws. The one to I think it was targeting Neighbors in the corner of the end zone, and he underthrew it. Like, you have to put that one on the money on the outside pylon where only your receiver could get it.
Yeah.
We were at the Thomas Dale Glen Allen game. I think Glen Allen's quarterback, Puccinelli, probably could have hit those passes.
Puccinelli's nice.
He was nice, and he probably would have hit those better than Russell was.
He's really good for a high school quarterback.
Yeah, he would have put that in the right spot.
But again, at this point, like if you're the Giants, what are we waiting for? I guess that's the question I'm asking. As a franchise, what are we waiting for? Our coach is a lame duck. Our quarterback is a lame duck. Whether we start Dart now or sit him later, it ain't going to change anything. Just get him his experience. Let's see what we got to work with. And let's give ourselves a chance to win games because honestly, Russell right now isn't giving them a chance to win games consistently.
Well, and this is the issue too, right? You have a lame duck coach because, I mean, it feels like either do your business or get off the pot, right? Like either fire him and put Jackson Dart in to see what you got. But like also if you fire Daboll and then you're bringing in this new coach, you've already handcuffed the new coach because you have the quarterback there. It is an absolute mess in New York. It is a mess in New York. I didn't think the vibes could get much worse after the first 2 weeks of the season, but they've gotten worse, and they got worse in a hurry. Fans have turned completely on Daboll, on Russell Wilson, and the Jets look like the most promising franchise in the Big Apple.
2 of your last 3 weeks of football have had questions about replacing the quarterback. That's all I'm saying right there. Like you tried not to have a distraction. It's a distraction.
It's tough. All right, let's get a break in here. Step aside. Be back with more Fitz the Bill on this Monday morning right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
The 7th annual River City Tennis Open was created to support local charities benefiting local youth organizations in RVA, October 3rd through 5th at UR Tennis Facility. Online at RiverCityTennisOpen.com.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call, Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito.
Incredible Cleaning Services is family-owned and the locally trusted choice for homes and businesses in the Tri-Cities area since 2017. From one-time deep cleans, we also specialize in commercial cleaning and construction cleaning to regular service and maintenance cleaning. We save you valuable time. For your free estimate, visit our website at incrediblecleaningservice.com. Here at Incredible Cleaning Services, we will give you your weekend back to spend it with family and friends. incrediblecleaningservice.com.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com. Game on, Richmond. Crank up 106.1 ESPN for live play-by-play, blistering hot takes, and nonstop action. Your ticket to the hype. Stay dialed in.
Overreaction Monday, starting off red hot. 804-327-0888. Text in your overreactions. We've got a good one. We have got it's similar to one of the ones I have. I have a very similar overreaction to this one. And it's good. 9:30 a.m. is when we're doing Overreaction Monday. So get your texts in, get your overreactions in. 804-327-0888. All right, a couple of other games around the NFL yesterday. We saw the 49ers win on a last-second field goal. Alan, explain it to me. Why do the 49ers and the Cardinals always play weird games? The Cardinals, going into yesterday's game, were the only team in the NFC West that Kyle Shanahan had a losing record against. What is it about the Cardinals?
I mean, Kyler Murray is hard to game plan against, and I think as funny as it sounds, I think a lot of times when he drops back, they just lose him behind the line of scrimmage. And he scurries, man.
Someone once described Kyler Murray as his running style as a toddler who just
that's
took your
exactly
phone.
what it is. That's exactly what it is. He's a bad toddler. And Patrick Mahomes does like the little scoot when he runs, but Kyler's the playmaker, and I think the Niners, because of the way we play defense a lot of times, playmakers give us the most fits because you can't account for their ability to extend plays all the time.
Yeah.
And so that extra second or two that he buys is an extra second or two that we have to cover, and we're just not good enough to do that consistently.
But hey, they were good enough at the end with a 16-15 win over the Cardinals. Mac Jones goes for 284 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
At some
Christian
point,
McCaffrey is so good.
People are going to come around and be saying the same things we always say, because there was definitely a moment where I felt like we shouldn't even have been in that position, right? Like the Niners got stuffed on the 1 yard line several times, and people just gloss over that because at the end everybody's like, "Oh, well, you won the game." And maybe I'm just a different fan. Maybe it's because I had a little bit of coaching, back when I was in college and stuff. I did the coaching thing. I look at the totality of the game. Yes, they won. That's great because God knows the Niners don't do fourth quarter comebacks at all in Kyle Shanahan's era. However, when you beat a team by one on a last second field goal where you could have easily won that by 10 plus, I have to be upset because the Niners' trajectory is that of a contender. And
they're 3-0.
Yeah, they're 3-0 against some pretty meh teams. But you get to a point where the way you're winning games catches up to you when you play good teams or better teams. So is that kind of play good enough to beat an Eagles team? Absolutely not. Good enough to beat a Lions team? Absolutely not. A Packers team? Absolutely not. And those are the people we need to be looking towards beating.
Yeah, but right now, the way that the 49ers have opened up the season, they are in a position where they could potentially be hosting those games against them.
And that's great, but as long as we continue to settle for field goals and get stuffed on the 1 yard line.
Much better to be having these issues in a win than it is to be in a loss. Would you have rather lost
until it's the playoffs?
Yeah, sure, but you get to the playoffs.
But we've been to the playoffs. I want to win a Super Bowl. We can't win a Super Bowl. You can't win a Super Bowl doing the same exact thing. So
would you have rather lost this game?
I would have rather won the game like we're supposed to win, which is winning by more than a touchdown.
I see what you're saying. However,
we can't keep scraping by because it catches up to us every single time. The scraping by is why the Niners are a laughing stock. The scraping by is why the Eagles have the Super Bowl. The Eagles beat Mahomes, not why the Niners beat them. Like scraping by isn't good enough. It can't be good enough. It hasn't been good enough.
I think you're a little grumpy on this one.
No, I'm just so confused why people just keep accepting the same old and think that this year is going to be any different than
Well, I mean, San Francisco's not winning the NFC West. It's going to be the Seahawks. The Seahawks are winning the
NFC. I'm not even worried about it. I'm just talking about just how we look on how the Niners look on the field. It looks exactly the same.
They are doing enough to win, but there are some issues that they have to figure out. It'll be interesting to see how they perform with Brock Purdy there because Mac Jones is not the answer. He had 284, 27 of 41. I think this game looks a lot different with Brock Purdy, and I think you have to put that into the calculus as well. But you also don't have anyone. You have no skilled players back. Ricky Pearsall is your number one receiver right now. He goes for 117 yards. Christian McCaffrey is literally your entire offense.
And we lost Bosa. He got hurt.
Yeah, Bosa gets hurt. Like, it's another season where you may just end up losing games because you're losing players and you're getting injured at an insane rate. So,
and again, I ask, how is that any different than the last 2 years?
It's not like that. That's what I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying you got the win, and it's much easier to correct mistakes in a win, as cliche as it is, than in a loss. So
I'm happy to get the win.
You escape with the win, and now how do you prepare for your next game when you got to welcome in the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I think Purdy's going to be back next game.
He should be. He was expected to nearly be back for this game.
I'm glad they didn't play him.
But
there's no need to rush them back.
The Jaguars 2-1, and I like Jacksonville. I think they're a feisty little AFC South team, and I'm still high on them. Another team though that has won in ugly ways, which also makes me think that they may be a fraud. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, they squeak by the New York Jets 29-27. And look, the Bucs this season, they may be fraudulent, and it might be very beneficial for them that they're in the NFC South, but a 23-20 win to open the season, a 2019 win against the Texans, and a 29-27 win yesterday. We all are very high on Tampa. We're very high because Baker Mayfield is speaking his mind at the podium. But similar to the 49ers, there are some flaws underneath the surface that the Bucs have to figure out. Much easier to figure out the flaws in wins than it is in losses. Coming up, hour number 2, Pete Thamel. He made some comments on College Game Day on Saturday regarding the Virginia Tech coaching opening. We'll dive into some of his comments that he made, as well as react to the absolute crash out that's happening in Clemson, South Carolina, as Dabo Swinney has no idea how to handle a 1-win start through the first couple of weeks in the season. Fran Brown and the Syracuse Orange, they got the better of them. So much more around the world of college football coming up in Overreaction Monday at 9:30. Get your texts in, 804-327-0888.
Stats optional. Opinions guaranteed. Matt Josephs brings you Border to Border, 3 to 4 on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. presented by The Racing Biz.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-454-4558. That's 800-454-4558. 800-454-4558.
Soccer and RVA is winding down with just 2 regular season home games left this year. Make your plans now to catch the next Richmond Kickers home game, Saturday, October 4th versus 1 Knoxville SC. Help celebrate another great season with our annual RVA Craft Beer Festival, featuring local craft brews at City Stadium, presented by Bon Secures. Stop by early for happy hour beverage specials and RVA's best local food trucks. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
Bob Black's here to get you through the wait. Whether it's hoops, gridiron, or on the diamond, 4 to 6 p.m. never sounded this smooth. Let's ride home with the voice of the Richmond Spiders. From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick Allen alongside right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, and ESPNRichmond.com. You can also watch live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We'll pop right on up, and you can be part of the show there by liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate each and every one of those. And, of course, you can call and text in on this Monday morning, 804-327-0888. Hour number 2, we're going to be talking a lot of college football. And coming up at 9:30, Overreaction Monday, breaking down some of the biggest overreactions we had from the week 3 of the NFL season. But first, on Saturday morning, Pete Thamel had a hit on College Game Day, breaking down everything that's happening around the UCLA hiring and the Virginia Tech coaching hiring, along with Oklahoma State, who might be on the hunt for a new coach very shortly, as it seems like Mike Gundy's seat is very, 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 very hot after a home loss to Tulsa. But that's besides the point. The one that we're really focusing in on is everything that is swirling around Virginia Tech. Pete Thamel said this on College Game Day Saturday morning.
In Virginia Tech, I've been told by a source by the end of the month, is going to add nearly $50 million to the athletic department budget to show that it can compete with the highest levels of the ACC.
So there was a lot of conversation about that, right? Last month, Whit Babcock made that presentation to the Board of Visitors, essentially asking, we currently have $144 million in athletic budget. We have to get to $200 million if we want to be a competitive team in the ACC. And that was always floating around the team. And then when Brent Pry was fired, that swirled even more around. What's the budget that Virginia Tech is going to be working with? What's their coaching budget? What's the coaching salary going to be? All of this. And it never really felt like it was fully confirmed. To me, it always felt like it was a 50-50 shot. And Pete Thamel is now indicating that they will indeed get that money at the end of this month to turn them from a middle to low tier ACC football budget to a top tier, not just ACC football budget, but if they do get that $50 million, they're up around the top dogs in all of college football. And this is overall a moment where the higher ups at Virginia Tech are going to decide if they're in or if they're out on athletics, specifically football. Like at this moment, the Board of Visitors will decide whether or not they want to fully invest in football moving forward and try to create a perennial winner, or do you want to bring that money back and maybe put it more towards the academic side? The positives, what makes everyone think that they are going to end up giving the money, one is the Pete Thamel report on Saturday morning, but also the Board of Visitors were very receptive when Whit Babcock, the current athletic director at Virginia Tech, presented his overall presentation last month. That included his ask for an additional $50+ million to the athletic budget. And now, with that reporting, getting that $50 million for Virginia Tech will put them at the top of college football. It will put them in a tier they have really never been in before, the top of the ACC. They'll probably pay a coach upwards of $8 to $12 million a year to coach them, which would be the highest salary among all ACC coaches, beating out Mike Norvell and Dabo Swinney. But here's the thing. You have teams in the Commonwealth succeeding with lesser budgets, right? JMU, they've been at the top of the Sun Belt. Granted, it's a little different because the Sun Belt, you're competing against like budgets there, and JMU is one of the higher budgets in all of the Sun Belt. You've also got ODU, though, one of the higher budgets in the Sun Belt that they have, and there is that kind of grain of salt that you got to throw in. But you're looking at what they have been doing with their coaching hires, and they are putting Virginia Tech to shame. So while a big budget is awesome, you need an AD who can identify coaching talent. This is what Pete Thamel said about who they and UCLA are targeting in their upcoming search.
As for the jobs at UCLA and Virginia Tech, Reese, I've been told they're going to target experienced head coaches. Both those schools need to market themselves as better jobs. They need to show financial commitment.
The financial commitment, Pete Thamel would go on to report, is there from Virginia Tech. Can you market yourself now, though, as the better job? And with UCLA there's going to be more openings coming up between now and when the hire is eventually made. It's looking like Oklahoma State will be one of them that will be looking for a new coach. But you're going to be looking for experienced head coaches. Where do they go? Do they look for a head coach who's currently sitting in somewhere? Do you look for a head coach that may have gone down to be a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator? It's going to be a very interesting decision-making. And it's also going to be an interesting decision on who makes the decision, because Whit Babcock has shown that he may not be the best at identifying coaching talent. Because not only do you have to identify a great coach and lure them to you, but you're going to have even more eyeballs on you because the budget you're working with is absolutely massive. And with Babcock, what did he do? Hired Justin Fuentes, failure, fired. Brent Pry, failure, fired. Do you trust Whit Babcock with this massive amount of money that he is going to get to not only identify a great coach, but to also lure them to you and make it the right hire? Like, the emphasis is now fully on the AD. And if you look at the other teams in the Commonwealth, JMU, Old Dominion, for JMU, they've nailed it on their past 1, 2, 3, 4 hires, right? Everett Withers into Mike Houston, into Kurt Signetti, now into Bob Chesney. Withers, he resurrected the program. Mike Houston won a national championship. Kurt Signetti, arguably the most talented coach in JMU football history. He is now dominating the rest of the college football world over there at Indiana. And Bob Chesney seems to be the right fit. He's been doing more with less, being able to identify coaching talent on the come up and getting them and using JMU as a stepping stone. Virginia Tech isn't going to be a stepping stone, but is Whit Babcock able to identify coaches either on the come up or maybe aren't as right in the spotlight that he could bring to Virginia Tech and have success with? I just don't know. I just don't think so. I don't think Whit Babcock's going to be the guy. And all the reports seem that he's not going to be the athletic director for very much longer. But if you give him a lot of money, it's going to be a huge, huge deal over there in Blacksburg. It looks like they're poised to become one of the highest budgets in the ACC. Now, can you parlay that into success with using that budget to get a good to get a good coach. Maybe one of those coaches they'll get, Allen, will be Dabo Swinney, because man, oh man, is he crashing out over there at Clemson. Dabo Swinney, after their loss to Syracuse, went on a complete tirade at the podium. This is what Dabo Swinney had to say after the loss to Syracuse and how his team is looking so far this year.
Yes, we stink, but why are we held to a different standard from all these other teams out there who ain't ever won nothing? We're not perfect, and we may suck this year. We may lay a freaking egg and go 6-6.
What a guy! Why are we held to a different standard? He goes, "Yes, we stink." So Syracuse takes down Clemson, and Dabo Swinney may be the next coach of Virginia Tech if he gets bought out.
Syracuse got fined $25,000 according to the ACC too for faking an injury. I just got the email.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, a win's a win's a win.
They specifically said the actions by the two players, especially with the concurrent action by the coach in the team area. So they getting everybody. It's like $25,000.
Man.
But no, it couldn't have happened to a better coach and a better program than Clemson, man. I tell you, I had my little rant about complacency in the Niners. Same things happened in the Clemson. You did the same thing for the last several years, and you expected a different result. You expect to compete with these other programs that have embraced NIL, that have tried to make adjustments, that have went out and gotten coordinators that run modernized offenses and things like that. You've expected to run your program, as my friend said, like it's 2010 and 2025. And now, because it's not working, you can't handle the criticism, and you're asking why are we held to a different standard, sir? You were one of the most elite programs in the first playoff era, right? The 4-team era. It was always Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, somewhere in the mix, throwing a little bit of Michigan and a little bit of Ohio State.
But you were the constant.
Yeah, you were the standard. Yeah, you were the standard. And I mean, at the time, it was good enough. But the best thing you can do right now is win the ACC and get into the playoffs and hope not to embarrass yourself. And that's just not going to cut it, man. This is not going to cut it.
And he's crashing out. Like, he cannot handle the heat. It's so clear that he has been in a media environment that has coddled him for so long. And now they're asking real questions because the real questions need to be asked because his team is vastly underperforming. 1-3, 0-2 in ACC play. And your losses are to Georgia Tech and Syracuse, two non-traditional powers in the ACC, but they both nailed new coach hires. Virginia Tech, I'm looking at you.
Syracuse beat you in Clemson.
That
right?
dude, yes,
yeah,
yes. But
Syracuse beat you in Clemson, and their quarterback got hurt.
And their quarterback got hurt like very near end of the game, so it didn't have too much. But like Syracuse, Fran Brown, new coach, up and coming team in the ACC. Georgia Tech, Brent Key, new coach, up and coming in the ACC. These are the new kids on the block that are beating up the old kid on the block. Like, your time has passed, Clemson. And it's kind of similar to the end of the Bill Belichick era up in New England. It's become very insular. Clemson has hired a lot of guys that are just going to say yes to Dabo. You look at the coaching staff for Clemson, it includes Taj Boyd and CJ Spiller. They have 0 years of coaching experience outside of Clemson. It's an issue that a lot of these big-time programs run into at the tail end. It's what makes Nick Saban so exceptionally talented as a coach. He didn't bring in former players. He didn't bring in yes men. He went from Bill O'Brien to Steve Sarkisian. He was getting guys that would push back on him, guys with former head coaching experience. For Clemson, you're bringing in Taj Boyd and CJ Spiller, two all-time greats in your program. Good for you. But do you really expect them to tell Dabo Swinney to shove it where the sun don't shine when he's wrong? Or do you think they're going to keep telling him yes?
We don't even need that. We just need somebody to talk to Dabo and sit him down and let him know that, like, the old way is done, man.
Yeah,
and if you're going to still coach that way, prepare yourself to be middle of the road at some point.
And when you have, for some reason, an unrelenting confidence in your quarterback who is underperforming.
Told me he's a top draft pick.
I thought he was, man. So did a lot of scouts.
Look, anybody that had Drew Allar and Cade Klubnik at the top of their list or in their top 5 is absolutely, they should be fired. They're not good scouts.
Who did I have? I had Cade Klubnik, Lenore Sellers, but Fernando Mendoza.
Mendoza looks great. Yeah.
Look at what he did over the weekend.
Signetti is such a bully, man.
Signetti's so much fun.
No, he's a bully.
We're going to talk about him in the next segment because what he did to Illinois was disrespectful with a capital D.
He's also another one it's cool when he do it, but when somebody do it to him, it's a problem.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and I respect that. That's my coach. That's my former coach.
We call them punks where I'm from.
Hey,
so.
You right.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what he is.
Hey, but he's a winner.
Yeah, he is.
He wins a lot.
And God help you if he does win because he will pour it on.
He will not pull up at all. But I don't think Dabo Swinney will be the coach of Clemson in 26.
I think Dabo's obviously earned the right. He makes that call. I don't think Clemson's going to get away from him. Also, I'm not sure where you would go if you're a program like Clemson to bring in somebody to replace Dabo. Like the idea of how many steps back you go, I guess it's scarier than just staying with Dabo, but you got to talk to him. And it's got to be one of those things like if he's not willing to change, then either as a university, you accept that you're going to be mid. It's very soon actually, or then you make the decision to move on from him. But I would definitely make it known, make this a very public thing because you're going to lose a lot of clout, not only with future coaches or potential replacements, but also with your fan base if you push him out just because he's had a bad start. Because to some degree, he is right. All that he has done has earned him some time. It hasn't earned him not to be questioned, but it has earned him some time and respect to turn it around. But it needs to happen sooner than later because Florida State was a 2-win team last year, and now they look like they could be contenders. Yeah. It can happen that quick if you play the game.
Let me walk back at me saying he won't be the coach next year because I did just look up his buyout. Ain't no way he's getting bought out.
No, they're
but he's got to figure something out. Like, yeah, you're going to have a bad year. This year's Florida State. I fully believe that. They'll probably finish in the back half of the ACC. They just – there is no passion. There is no desire. There's nothing that
they're close to quitting on him. I can tell you that.
They 100% they are.
Close.
He's got to do. Maybe it's switching up the quarterback, something along those lines. But there's something you got to do to try and spark something within this team. And you probably will have next season to try and figure it out. You probably will have the season after that because I'm looking at this buyout, and man, oh man, does he have a good agent who got him this buyout.
He was arguably the second best coach
in college football. Yeah, 100%. But still a good agent that got him this buyout. That it's going to be around $60 million for the next 3 years. So Dabo is there to stay. How do you use the portal? You've got to decide to use the portal because that's what got Florida State out of the depths of despair after their 2-10 season last year. What did they do? They go out, they get Tommy Castellanos. He brings this new energy to the team. They add a bunch of other guys through the transfer portal.
And we got the best defensive coordinator in the nation.
And you got a great defensive coordinator.
Really helps.
And boom, bam, all of a sudden you're back to being a top-tier team in the ACC. For Clemson, they have not utilized the transfer portal really at all or really that effectively. Can Dabo figure out how to use it in this offseason? We're already talking about offseason for Clemson. That is an insane flip for what Dabo Swinney has been over there in South Carolina.
And he had Elliott and Venables at some point, man. Two respected coordinators who are now leading their own programs, and he didn't replace them with much.
I was going to say, if you look at when the decline started for Dabo, it was when Venables left.
Yeah.
Like that, it has been kind of,
didn't get that advanced scouting that Venables was known for.
Chill.
We bash Michigan. I don't know why they don't bash him too.
You're not wrong.
I'm gonna try to keep it
100.
Yeah. He knows your plays.
All right. On the other side of this break, I'm gonna get away from that one so I don't get wrapped up in Alan's quest.
It's valid. It's not even a conspiracy. It's definitely proven.
Is it proven?
It's been proven. It's been proven through some antics. I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right. Now coming up on the other side of this break, UVA blows out Stanford with a emphatic ACC win, and JMU wins the first ever Battle of the Blue Ridge. We'll talk about that and so much more across the college football landscape. Stay locked right here, 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Richmond Kickers soccer games in the fall is a RVA tradition. Just a few games left at City Stadium this season. Reserve your tickets online at richmondkickers.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-454-4558. That's 800-454-4558. 800-454-4558.
Hey, this is Jack Fitzpatrick. If you've ever been in a car accident, there's one place to call: Schilling and Esposito. I know them personally. I know their work ethic. They focus on their clients and their big dog obsession with getting the most compensation for their client. Heck, they even give you their cell phone numbers. Call them today at 804-320-0950 and put their entire team to work for you. 804-320-0950. Schilling and Esposito.
Dude, I think the time has finally come. You gave it a good life, man. Yeah, but it's been so long since I've been in the market. It's just your garage refrigerator. Don't worry, I got a guy. That can give me a good deal?
Still putting off replacing your old appliances? I'm Rob Nicholson, the appliance guy. At East Coast Appliance, we're Virginia's largest independent appliance dealer of top brand names. Plus, we have a huge selection of brand new scratch and dent appliances at discounted prices. Visit East Coast Appliance today. The best price, or it's free. Hi, Rob Nicholson here from East Coast Appliance. A lot of people ask, what is the deal with scratch and dent appliances? And it's really pretty simple. They keep your food just as cold, wash your clothes just as good, and they're all backed by the original manufacturer warranty. It's true a scratch and dent appliance might not win a beauty pageant, but many of them only have a small ding or two. But the price tags have big savings of up to a few $100s. Save huge on scratch and dent appliances right now at East Coast Appliance, where you always get the best price, or it's free.
PGA Ryder Cup leaderboard updates are brought to you by Richmond LSV's Fall Bintelli sales event now through October 31st. Low-speed vehicle special financing details online at richmondlsv.com.
From rush hour to Richmond Roar, Bob Black's voice is your sun-splashed co-pilot. Dive into all the stats, fiery takes, and the kind of energy that beats brake lights. Weekdays, 4 to 6 p.m., your drive's new favorite huddle.
Back in Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. 48-20 win for the Virginia Cavaliers over the weekend. And, Allen, I think this quarterback, Chandler Morris, breaking news here. I'm breaking some news. Pretty dang good at football.
Yeah, no, he's straight.
He was good at North Texas. He was a mean green fighting machine. And he's brought that over to UVA where he threw for 380.
The thing about him, too, that's kind of cool, and maybe this should be a strategy for other programs. Chandler Morris started at TCU.
Yeah.
He got beat out by Max Duggan, I think, and Spencer, what was the other guy? Some other guy. But anyway, he got beat out by two quarterbacks, but he was part of the national championship run. Yeah, he was part of that class or whatever. So clearly he had talent. They thought he had talent. He joined the program that ended up going to a national championship. And then he takes the step down and goes to North Texas, and an offense that's like, if you can play quarterback, you're going to put up numbers.
Yeah.
He put up numbers. And so then UVA goes out and they get him from North Texas. Like, honestly, it's a long form way of stealing a talented recruit. But I think if you're going to do the portal, that's the kind of player you want.
Especially if you're a UVA, like they have the money now to go out and lure this type of player to them.
And nobody was looking at him per se. Like,
No.
he's under the radar. He's from North Texas. According to everybody, people don't even go back to the TCU days.
Yeah, he is now known as the North Texas quarterback. He's not known as the former TCU quarterback. And he balled out. He gets into an offense that is very friendly to him. 380 yards through the air against Stanford. He threw for 4 touchdowns, rushed for another. He accounted for 5 on the day. Trell Harris led the way with 145 yards through the air, or I guess receiving. And Cam Robinson, he comes back from his injury And what does he do? He has a fumble recovery, and he leads the team with 7 tackles. Just huge to get him back for UVA.
And I don't want to bring this up, but I think North Texas has another good quarterback in case UVA is interested, because this guy is tough too. And again, if you're going to portal hop for a program like UVA and a position like quarterback, this is the kind of player I think you want to get into your program.
Yes, very much so. And if UVA can keep like kind of churning into the transfer quarterbacks like this, there'll be a problem. And at 3-1 now, 1-0 in the ACC, it's a very good start to the season for Virginia. Last week we were talking about it. If you want to be considered a kind of darling of the ACC, kind of a dark horse in the conference, this is a game you have to go out and you don't just win, you have to dominate in. And they dominated. They scored 21 points in the first quarter, and then from there were able to just coast on to a win, scoring 7 in the second quarter, 10 more in the third, 10 more in the fourth. And it never was in doubt. They looked like the best team from the kick. They looked like they were going to dominate, and dominate they did in a major way. That is a win that UVA needed to have. They needed to do it in a dominant fashion, and they did all of that. Very impressive for them. 48-20 win. The Cavaliers now 1-0 in ACC play. So another team in the Commonwealth in action. JMU took on Liberty in the first ever Battle of the Blue Ridge. Not the first time these two teams ever faced off, but the first time that it was dubbed the Battle of the Blue Ridge. And JMU came away with the 31-13 win. It was a slow start for the Dukes, but pulled away in the second half, and Liberty's offense looked bad. 75 yards through the air. They did have 158 on the ground, but that's because they could not move the ball to save themselves through the air. 7 of 21, 3.6 yards per completion. 3.6 yards per attempt. Not good.
What happened to my guy, Jamie Chadwell?
My, how the mighty have fallen.
I know, man. Rare day. I mean,
1-3. Liberty's 1-3.
I don't think anybody's going to be taking him for a potential coaching replacement now.
I think some people are looking around Jamie Chadwell and going, was that COVID year a fluke? Because that was his best year at Coastal. He got a lot of good press out of the Mormons versus Mullet game, BYU and all of that.
Yeah, BYU, if I recall, they took it on short notice and came to Coastal, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He had a really talented quarterback and a really talented group of kids, though. So I can't say it was a fluke, because back then you had to recruit. So he brought those kids in and built that team. But I don't know what's going on with Liberty and what he's got going now.
The wild thing is Liberty's got so much more money than the rest of the group of five that they should be able to just put together all-star rosters each and every year. But they didn't this offseason.
Coach Saban said you still got to pay the right guys, and I agree. You still got to pay the right guys.
I don't know if they paid the right guys. Ethan Vasco, he's probably going to be missing a couple of games at least. His arm was in a sling in the second half after getting hit pretty hard in the first half. He had taken a lot of hits through the first 3 weeks of the season going into that game, and it kind of culminated in an injury. Michael Merdinger went 2 of 6. Ethan Houck went 1 of 5. So both of the backups that came in to replace Vasco, neither looked really that good. Vasco was the best runner they had. He had a touchdown run, averaged 4.7 yards per carry, which was the best out of anyone. Just the Liberty offense is bad. And then the Liberty defense is bad. And I think Liberty is bad this year. And that is kind of unacceptable when you're a team that spends as much money as they have on this roster. And then on the flip side, JMU shockingly only used one quarterback all game. It was the Alonzo Barnett show, who threw for 213. First time he has thrown for over 200 yards since the middle of last season. A touchdown and an interception. He also ran for 45 yards, tacked on 2 more touchdowns on the ground. Wayne Knight, Iowa Dei, they both got used heavily, combining for 30 carries and over 170 yards of rushing and a touchdown. So JMU got back to what worked, which is a single quarterback and running the football, and it resulted in them pulling away in the second half and getting a 31-13 win over Liberty, picking up their first Battle of the Blue Ridge win. And JMU's former coach, Kurt Cignetti, he was demolishing Illinois, man. What we were talking about it last segment. This was such a rude win. It was 63-10 Indiana.
At one point, the commentators were openly, not the guys who were doing the radio broadcast, because I was out, so I was listening to them on the radio.
Yeah.
We had it here on 106.1, and they were openly questioning if this was the worst defeat by a top 10 team in the history of football. They were like, they had to go back pre-World War II. I think Holy Cross lost to somebody by like 40, 45 or something like that. But they were like, they couldn't think of anything during the air quote modern era or in their lifetime where a top 10 team had gotten beat that bad in a game, like in a regular season game. So I thought it was hilarious that somebody took the time to kind of like look at those stats. But if you think about the scope of college football history, for them to have to go back that far and still question whether or not that was the worst. I mean, he got beat. They got beat really bad.
And
it wasn't like they were trying. At one point, they really just had the backups in. They were running the ball, but they were getting like 12 yards.
They averaged 6.4 yards per carry.
They were just they were saying on the broadcast, he was like, man, you got your mom here and stuff. The way they were talking was cracking me up. I was like, yeah, have some pride. I'm with you, man. But
yeah, man.
I don't think it mattered.
Mendoza went 21 of 23, 267 and 5 touchdowns. Kobe Martin went for over 100 yards, 12 carries, 107. Former JMU player Elijah Surratt, 9 catches, 92 yards. They were just demolishing them. And it raises the question, how good is Old Dominion? Week 1 of the season, Old Dominion held Indiana to 27 points. This has been the season for Indiana. A 27-14 win over Old Dominion. That is their closest game that they have played. 56-9 win against Kennesaw State, 73-0 to Indiana State, 63-10 to Illinois. How good are the Monarchs? Was that a fluke week 1, or are the Monarchs like that?
Some of it's probably just styles, I guess. But I mean, it does bode well if you're looking for a moral victory. If you're ODU,
great moral victory.
Yeah, I mean, you held a team that scores like 50 a game to 27, and you beat Virginia Tech.
Yeah, you got a moral victory and a real victory.
Yeah,
and,
so
congratulations. Just when I saw that, I was like, man, Old Dominion might actually be like very good this year. They might be like that.
Whole lot better effort than the number 9 team in the nation.
True, very true. That number 9 team in the nation dropped 14 spots, 23rd now.
It's not enough.
Kind of shocking that they are still ranked.
I know,
also, equally as shocking, Indiana only moved up 8 spots.
No, that's fair.
No, Indiana,
they disrespect Indiana. You got to stay on brand. It'd be weird if they actually gave them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They like Indiana this year has a top 10 win by 53 points. Meanwhile, Texas can't get out of its own way, and Texas is ranked higher. If Indiana and Texas played tomorrow, who are you taking? Indiana.
Yeah, I would take Indiana. I'm not gonna let Arch, posturing on Sam Houston State
exactly
change my mind. They got Texas this weekend. I mean, Florida this weekend, right?
Texas does, yeah.
We'll see what they do.
We'll see because DJ Lagway has vowed that he will play better.
But the Florida defense has been solid. I thought they did a good job on Beck and those guys, all things considered. They just didn't get anything from the offense.
Yeah, man, I just couldn't get over that. I did want to get your thoughts on the Auburn-Oklahoma game because there was that missed call, the quote-unquote missed call, where the SEC has reprimanded its officials.
The SEC is very strange.
The SEC is hilarious.
I thought it was like taboo to publicly call out officials just in general.
And then the SEC not only publicly called them out, but like kind of took it to them in that like they're your officials, man.
I mean, it shows some bias. You gotta hold on for your old guard. Like,
yeah, exactly. You got to.
We can't let Oklahoma and Texas run the SEC.
If that call hurt Oklahoma, we would not have gotten a statement from the SEC.
I don't think we would.
The only reason we got that statement from the SEC is because it was against Auburn. That's the only reason.
That's how you know you're a blue blood of your conference.
When the SEC defends you.
When your conference will openly defend you. But
you know what the crazy thing about that entire situation is? It happened in the first dang half. You lost by a touchdown. You had the whole second half to try and figure it out. You're telling me that missed play caused you to be so dejected you lost the game? Get out of here. Like, come on, man. Play football.
But look, like we said last week, Oklahoma's hitting into the to the thick of things in the good spot, like 4-0, playing some good ball. Auburn, at the end of the day, I just don't think they played well enough to win.
No.
Even with the call, I just don't think they were the better team on the field, and that's why Oklahoma ultimately won. Sometimes people get lucky and things like that. I don't think that was one of these scenarios. I think regardless of the call, Oklahoma was the better team. They were going to win that game.
Oklahoma was the much better team. Yeah. John Mateer is the better quarterback. If they hadn't gotten that call, they would have gotten another touchdown and another point and won by 7 points. And also, I watched the video. He may have faked that he was going out, but he still lines up, looks to the ref, gives the ref a thumbs up, does everything he needs to make it known that he was part of the play. And Auburn just missed it. Coach them better, Hugh Freeze.
Jackson Arnold got sacked 9 times. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you know what? You could have won the game with if you only let him get sacked 8 times. Be better in other phases of the game. It's that simple.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a quick break in here. Step aside. Overreaction Monday on the other side of the break. 804-327-0888. Get in your overreactions. We've got a couple of great texts coming in. And man, one is a massive overreaction that I actually agree with. Stay with us to learn what it is.
Serving Richmond and beyond for over 20 years, Bonaire Shell features a full line of automotive services. Check out BonaireShell.com, loaded with coupons, specials, and more to see all that they can do for your car and your peace of mind. And now with their Fuel Rewards program, you can save at least 5 cents per gallon on every fill-up. Learn more at FuelRewards.com. Go see the team at Bonaire Shell, 8762 West Huguenot Road. Go to BonaireShell.com or call them at 272-3232. That's 272-3232.
Cooler fall temperatures are coming, and that means perfect weather for a round of golf at Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at QueenfieldGolf.com. Queenfield Golf Club, RVA's best-kept secret.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-454-4558. That's 800-454-4558. 800-454-4558.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 106.1 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN. Streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
Wes Etia and Joyner Fine Properties presents the River City Tennis Open October 3rd through 5th at the University of Richmond Westham facility. For more information, visit rivercitytennisopen.com.
PGA Ryder Cup leaderboard updates are brought to you by Richmond LSV's Fall Bentelli sales event now through October 31st. Low-speed vehicle special financing details online at richmondlsv.com.
Score big with the 106.1 ESPN app. Listen live anywhere. Crystal clear coverage, breaking news, and Richmond's rowdiest sports debates. Tap in and turn it up.
Overreaction Monday. Genty was a waste of a top 10 pick for the Raiders.
That is an overreaction. Yeah, you just come in hot every time.
They're overreacting. Look, he's going to be a great running back once they get him an offensive line.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not. But you know what they needed to do before they drafted
the offensive line?
Fix the offensive line. You know what they could have done with that top 10 pick? Fix the offensive line. You know what they didn't do? They drafted Ashton Genty.
It's tried and true, though. It's a tried and true method. You add a running back in a top 10 scenario when you have an established quarterback and an established offensive line. You don't add a running back if both of those things are not there.
Yeah. Are you agreeing with me?
Yeah. You have to have those two things. I didn't understand why everybody was like promoting it or like, oh, this is a great pick. It's not a great pick. It might be once they get a quarterback and an offensive line. But like, man, I felt so bad for him yesterday, man.
Look, we talked about it a lot last week. The stats haven't been fully updated with what happened yesterday. That'll happen in the next couple of hours on PFF. He has 84 yards after contact this season. He has 81 total yards. Like, he is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage and falling forward more often than not. He is put in a position to fail. And Genty was a waste of a top 10 pick for the Raiders, not because of Genty's talent and ability. He's going to be great on whatever team signs him as a free agent like Saquon. But the Raiders needed to shore up that offensive line, and it was so on display yesterday against the Commanders.
I think the Falcons get away with Robinson being the pick because they picked Michael Penix not too long after that.
Well, and also because Robinson, and no offense to Ashton Genty, but Robinson is on the field for every single down. He plays good in pass pro, and he's a very, very good catcher of the football where they sometimes line him up in the slot and put him out wide. Ashton Genty is more of your typical running back, and he's been slow to pick up pass protections where Dylan Lobby, the rookie out of New Hampshire, is out there running 2-minute drills because they can't afford to put their running back out into a pass concept because they need the extra blocker back there to give Geno Smith extra time. And Ashton Genty doesn't know how to do pass pro yet.
And Lindstrom, the right guard for the Falcons, and a couple of those guys were pretty solid.
Going back to the Falcons, the Falcons kind of had
so I just forget everything I said. It's just they were wrong for that.
You didn't have the offensive line figured out, and now it's coming back to bite you.
I'm going to use the texter here for my first overreaction. The Browns are a playoff team.
I agree with this too because my second overreaction was the Browns are a playoff team. It's an overreaction.
I know it's an overreaction. I just want it to be somewhat realistic. An overreaction. It's asking a lot for this defense to carry, but you know what? I'll go one under you guys and say that my overreaction is that Stefanski's a good coach.
Stefanski's a very two-time coach of the year.
I think he's a good coach. I don't necessarily agree with how they're doing the quarterback thing, and it's not even about Shador. It's just in general. Like, you don't want to start a season with Flacco as your main piece, and if he's the best QB you got, and he honestly sometimes doesn't look like he really wants to play.
Yeah,
like
he doesn't want to get hit.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get hit, things like that. But he's out there. So if they could just give him a capable quarterback, man, I would love to see what the Browns could do. Because I love that they fought hard yesterday. They had a great game plan, and again, that defense is one of one, man. They are really good.
The defense is very good, and with this, that the reason why I'm going even further out to say that they're a playoff team as part of my overreaction, you get the win, you're gritty, your defense looks very good. Joe Flacco does worry me, but Quinshon Judkins, he has stepped in. He missed the first week of the season because he was still working through things, getting signed. He had the off-season issues where he was accused of sexual battery, I believe it was, or domestic violence. Mm-hmm. The charges ended up being dropped. He then signed his contract. He finds his way to Cleveland, misses week 1. Week 2, he has 10 carries for 61 yards. Yesterday, he had 18 carries for 94 yards. He's averaging about 5.5 yards per carry, which is really solid for a rookie running back. If they can continue getting good production out of Quinshon Judkins, and Joe Flacco can continuously find the tight ends, which they're 2 tight ends in David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr., they combined for 8 catches, 65 yards yesterday, averaging just about 8 yards per catch. That's some solid stuff, and I think they have the makings to be a very, very, very ugly playoff team.
Yeah, it won't be pretty. I guess take a swipe at the Eagles. the Browns won't score a lot because they can't. The Eagles just choose not to, is what I'm assuming. Because the Eagles have way more talent, but offensively they look the same sometimes when it comes to like the eye test of like entertainment. Like, wow, is this really happening? Like yesterday, I felt like every clip I saw of them on Red Zone was Flacco getting sacked.
He was sacked twice. He threw one interception.
Yeah, or a 2-yard cloud of dust run.
His rating was horrible, 55.6. I mean, they do have to figure out their quarterback situation a little bit more. And it's also a huge overreaction. Like, in my heart of hearts, I do not believe the Cleveland Browns are going to the playoffs. However, a 13-10 win over the Green Bay Packers, it's gritty, it's good. Congrats. You did nothing for the first 3 quarters. You scored 13 points in the fourth. You somehow pull it out. But the overreaction is, wow, Cleveland.
It's a good overreaction.
And like, oh, wow, Cleveland. Okay, all right. And to back it up, like to kind of take it a little further and take it a step out, the week before you lose by 1 to Cincinnati, or I guess week 1 you lost by 1 to Cincinnati. So a bounce here, a bounce there, and just like that, you could be 2-1 right now. But that's the game of what ifs and being close, and that only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So
yeah. All right, what's your third one?
Third one is that the Atlanta Falcons stink. Like, it's just that simple. I thought they were good. I thought they were better than they were. I thought they were a legit contender in the NFC South. I thought they'd be able to give the Tampa Bay Bucks a little bit of a run for their money. Because week 1, they lose 23-20. They had plenty of opportunities to beat the Bucks. Looked like they were very evenly matched teams. And they go out and they kind of take it to Minnesota, right? 22-6. And that's looking like a pretty good win after what Minnesota did this last weekend. And then what did they do to back it up? The Panthers just gave them the old goose egg. A 30-0 loss to the Carolina Panthers, where Bryce Young didn't even look good. Bryce Young only had 121 yards through the air. They only had 110 yards on the ground. It was a tough day. 2 interceptions from Michael Penix. I mean, I think the Falcons may just stink, man.
I think the Falcons just were a victim of youth and inexperience. The quarterback doesn't have a lot of reps under him. He still hasn't quarterbacked a full season. And until he gets that magic 17 games under his belt, I think you're always going to have these highs and lows. And then in the case of yesterday, it looked eerily similar to the Commanders when they went up against the Packers. Nothing looked like it was working.
Nothing was
Offense,
working.
defense, special teams, the coaches, the play calling, all of it just did not look like it was clicking at all.
Yeah, 2 interceptions. You lost a fumble as well. I mean, you were just giving the Panthers good field position so many times. And yeah, it was a tough game for Atlanta. And you're right. Michael Penix is underexperienced. He needs to get more looks. And I just think the Falcons may stink.
All right, well, I'm going to drum it up again. You got my boy in Indianapolis. He's got to be my boy now because he's rejuvenating Shane Steichen and this team. The team to beat in the AFC South is the Colts, not the Jags, not the Texans, and it's definitely not the Titans, but it's the Colts. That is the team that should be striking fear in everybody right now.
You want a crazy stat?
What?
Daniel Jones is the first quarterback in NFL history to have 3 or more passing touchdowns and 3 or more rushing touchdowns with no turnovers in the first 3 weeks of a season.
Give him MVP.
How many times have the Colts punted this season?
I don't know.
Once.
What? I was going to say, I think they might have did it yesterday.
We have played 12 quarters of football, and they have punted once.
Indiana Jones, man. Great nickname. Great player.
Oh, man.
I never knew Danny Dimes. I don't know what you speak of when you talk about him. Erase all of his doings in New York. Matter of fact, can we get that done for him and Saquon? Can we just not hold either one of them accountable for what happened with the Giants or their time with the Giants?
Honestly, all quarterbacks and or players that have ever stepped foot in either the Jets building or the Giants building, scratch that from the record, because look at what Sam Darnold has done since he got out of there. Look at now what Daniel Jones has done since he's gotten out of there. Look at what Saquon has done now that he's gotten out of there.
I'm telling you.
The Big Apple is a bad place.
If we can free Malik Neighbors and send them to San Francisco, I'd appreciate it.
No.
Wait, was that too far?
Look at what Leonard Williams has done
All right.
since coming to Seattle.
I guess I did go too far. With
You took a little.
I'm sorry. I'll take it back.
Watching that game yesterday, Daniel Jones wears the number 17, right?
Yeah, he should have an S on his chest right now.
That's the same number Phillip Rivers wore when he was with the Colts. And I looked at the TV on multiple occasions and go, why is Phillip Rivers in? Because they both kind of play with like that reckless abandon. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm like, all right, that's Daniel Jones. That's right.
Colts got to stay healthy. I put that out there.
Massive.
That's my disclaimer. They have some injuries sometimes.
And Daniel Jones has been banged up in his career. Jonathan Taylor's gotten banged up a couple of times, but he also had a great game. 17 carries, 102 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jonathan Taylor. Woo, Nelly.
Jonathan Taylor's balling, and they still haven't got Mitchell involved in the offense. Once he gets involved in the offense consistently with his big playability, they're going to be a problem.
2 targets, no receptions. Michael Pittman, though, doing what he does best, which is gets catches and gets yards, 6 for 73 and a touchdown. I mean, the Colts are a team that's firing on all cylinders.
Pittman's an anomaly, man. I would have never thought he would have had
as much success
career.
as he has had.
Because he's so slow and he doesn't get a lot of separation, but it works.
It works.
It works.
All right. My last overreaction. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Tedero McMillan is going to be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He had a play yesterday where he jumped and it looked like he floated. Like his ability to get into the air, high point of football and make the catch. I think he is going to be a problem.
I compared him to Mike Evans coming out.
Yeah, he is.
But people told me I was crazy.
We spent way too much time overreacting to certain measurables from Tedero McMillan, and he's going to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL sooner rather than later. All right, let's get a quick break in here. Step aside. Baker Mayfield made some funny comments after the Buccaneers win yesterday over the Jets. We'll break those down and wrap up this Monday edition of Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Hey, this is Michael with Incredible HVAC. We're a locally owned business, and we know how important it is to be comfortable in your own home. No matter the time of the year, if your heating or cooling system is not performing like it should, visit IncredibleHVAC.com. When you choose Incredible HVAC, you're not just getting great service, you're also helping our community. $25 every tune-up goes to our local food pantry, and we're proud partners of the Kiwanis Club, Optimist Club, and Share the Love organization. Incredible HVAC not only brings comfort to your home, but also to your community.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
The Bentelli Fall Sales Event is on now through October 31st. Great selection of LSVs and special finance rates are available. Cruise your neighborhood in style with a street-legal low-speed vehicle from Richmond LSV. Bluetooth sound system, seatbelts, and lithium batteries are all standard equipment. Schedule a test drive today during the Bentelli Fall Sales Event at richmondlsv.com or text 804-363-4351. Fun, fully charged.
Join Matt Josephs on Border to Border to get the best interviews and breaking news throughout the sports world.
We'll talk nerds.
All this computer hacking is making me thirsty.
Border to Border is live every weekday from 3 to 4 p.m.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen alongside. So the Buccaneers got a good win, and you're probably sitting there, Jack, why are we talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They're in Tampa.
Was that a good win?
We're in Richmond, Virginia. That bumper?
No, was that a good win?
Oh, was that a good win? I was like, that was a great bumper.
No, the bumper's fine. It was a win, but was it a good win?
Well, the Bucs have not had a good win this season. Like, look at what the Bucs have done. 23-20 at Atlanta, 2019 at Houston, and now 29-27 in their home opener against the New York Jets. I think the Bucs are frauds. Like, sure, you're barely squeaking out wins against bad teams, but it doesn't matter much because you're in the NFC South and you're going to win it. But Baker Mayfield, he's feeling himself at the podium, man. He's loving it. He is. Last game, he was feeling it at the podium. He was kind of talking some smack, and he had this to say after the barely win over the New York Jets at the podium postgame.
I loved it. And it's also their D coordinator was the one that cut me in Carolina. So it was a lot of stuff was personal today. Hassan Reddick, former Jet, a lot of people.
So just to recap real quick, Hassan Reddick kind of forced his way out of New York. Yes, that was his own doing. And just in case everyone was curious, Steve Wilks, the current defensive coordinator for the New York Jets, was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers when Baker Mayfield kind of had that weird experience there. Matt Rule was the guy who brought Baker in. Matt Rule gets fired. Steve Wilks becomes the interim head coach. And under Steve Wilks, Baker Mayfield gets released from the team. I just want to let everyone know that Steve Wilks did not cut Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield asked for his own release. Now, with all that being said, I love a chip on his shoulder, Baker Mayfield. I love it when he creates these fake narratives.
That's a little ridiculous, though. That was like, you asked to be cut, sir.
He has to be cut because
be mad at the Browns.
Safety.
Yeah, I was gonna say, be mad that they put you at scout team safety. But what's the statute of limitations for holding a grudge on a franchise?
Forever.
Forever.
As a professional grudge holder over here, I would say forever.
But like
forever.
Like for the Panthers, though, like in Baker, like that tenure. I just don't know if
it's kind of like what you said, where like Baker should be happy that the Browns moved off of him. He should be happy that the Panthers moved off of him because like he could have just been stuck in quarterback purgatory. Now I'm in the camp where the Browns are stupid for letting him go because he brought them their first playoff win in what feels like forever. But
he was the most stable quarterback they had since they let him go. So I'll give him that.
Something that I always think about with the Cleveland Browns are how much do you think they hate the Baltimore Ravens for stealing Cleveland from them? Because technically all of the success that Baltimore has had should be the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, I think about that, but I also think that just because of the Browns name and what they represent,
then they would have.
The Ravens wouldn't be the Ravens unless they went to Baltimore.
Yeah, and stole them in the dead of night. Took them to Baltimore in the dead of night.
Oh man,
that was a tough one.
It happens, man. You know. I don't have anything else to add to that other than I know it sucks for the fans,
but it happens.
But I don't think the Ravens would be the Ravens if they were in Cleveland. They'd still be what we know as the Browns, and the Browns have just always just gotten in their own way in my lifetime.
And the Ravens get going tonight. Good segue into that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
I like Detroit. I like Baltimore to kind of just run the score up and cover this 4.5 point spread easily.
I will go with Baltimore just because I know that Jared Goff is just not Jared Goff when he's not in the dome.
Too.
So yeah, so I'm sure somehow, some way last year, I think they had like 12 or 13 games in the dome just based on their schedule. Like when they went on the road, they played dome teams.
Yeah, last year they had an insane.
Yeah, they ain't got that this year. So I again, it's more of the elements than it is Ben Johnson, if you ask me. But we'll see. I love, Dan Campbell as a coach, and I'm sure he'll have the guys riled up. But this Ravens team is a good team. So their best bet is to keep it close and let the Ravens beat themselves in the end.
Yes, that is really your best bet because the Ravens have shown that they are going to do that quite often. The Detroit defense has been kind of bad defending against the
I don't
pass
think they were
this
that
season.
good with Aaron Glenn, but people say they were.
They were better with Aaron Glenn than they were without Aaron Glenn. They're very good. The Lions are very good at stopping the run, which is pretty big considering Derrick Henry's on the other sideline and you do want to slow him down, but they're very good at stopping the run and below average at stopping the pass. So I would expect the Baltimore Ravens just to rely on Lamar Jackson as they typically do to win them this game. Zay Flowers has had a very good start to the season through 2 games. He has over 218 receiving yards. I'm just having flashbacks to the Detroit Lions in week 1 where they just did not look good in a 27-13 loss. I don't think we should put too much stock into last week's huge win.
Is the line still 4.5?
Line's still 4.5. I like Baltimore to cover.
Yes, that's fair. I think that's a little bit of an overreaction from last week. So I'm going to go with Baltimore too. Also, before we leave, I would be in the wrong if I didn't acknowledge our poor folks who took the Rams plus 2.5.
Oh, that play nearly created a bad beat segment.
No, yeah, that was man, that was one of the worst I've seen in a long time. And crazy enough, some folks around me up in the press box had the Lions. And then also, if people could send out a prayer for me, I had the Falcons in my Survivor contest, so I'm out.
No,
I know, man.
No, not only
they couldn't even score for me.
Couldn't even score. That stinks. Oh, I'll pour one out for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I will pour one out for you. Follow along. Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA on Instagram. You can find all of our Talk of the Town coverage from game day, post-game interviews to food reviews. You do not want to miss it. All happening on Instagram at Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA. We were out at Thomas Dale this last week, and they are the first ever Fitz the Bill food review. Got a solid 8.2. Those were some crispy, crinkle-cut fries and a delicious chili cheese dog. We're going to figure out which game we're going to and announce it tomorrow on the show. So stay locked right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We've got Clinton and Friends up next, Rich Eisen Show into Border to Border, then the Mashup Hour, and then Bob Black takes you on home with the Sports Huddle right here where Richmond talks sports. Fits the bill.
From the ESPN studio, presented by Ortho Virginia. Find one of Ortho Virginia's orthopedic locations at orthovirginia.com. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURB HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN.